This is how to discover the quadratic formula by completing the square. The standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve for x, and we're going to use completing the square to do it. So our answer is going to be x equals, and then we're going to have something in terms of a, b, and c over here. Okay, so we're going to start with ax squared plus bx plus c. And to complete the square, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this coefficient is 1. So since it's not 1, we're going to factor it out. So I'm going to take a out of that. So a times x squared is ax squared. And then the way that we do it right there is if I take b divided by a, then when I multiply it by a, I'm going to get b. So that just tells me what I need to do to factor that out. So I will say plus b a and then times x. And I'm going to leave some space there for when I complete my square for a perfect square trinomial. And then I'm going to add c over here. So I haven't done anything to change it, I've just made it look in a different form. The next thing I'm going to do to complete this and make this into a perfect square trinomial is I'm going to take half of b over a, which is equal to b over 2a, and I'm going to square it. And that's going to equal b squared over 4a squared. This is what's going to go right there. Now, because I can't just go around adding something to an equation because it upsets the balance, I have to, since I added it, I need to take it away, but I have to look at what did I really do. What I really did was I added a times b squared over 4a squared, which is equal to b squared over 4a when I simplify it. So since that's really what I added, I'm going to take that away. And then it's as if nothing happened. I've just made this look different. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to now put my perfect square trinomial in factored form. So I'll have the a, which is just tagging along for right now. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of b squared over 4a squared is b over 2a. And because this is a plus sign, I'm going to have a plus sign, and that's how you factor the perfect square trinomial. Now I need to worry about taking care of this right here. So since I'm adding and I have fractions involved, I have to have a common denominator. So my common denominator is going to be 4a. This one is already with 4a. And the c, I'm going to do 4a times the c, and that will make me have a common denominator. Okay, now let's clean it up a little bit. So to combine these two right here, I can say that that is equal to negative b squared plus 4ac over 4a. And then I'm going to just put it on the other side. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to add it to the other side or subtract it as the case may be. So next I'll have this still on the left-hand side. Since this is negative, I'm going to add b squared, and since this is positive, I'm going to subtract 4ac. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of that, so I'm going to multiply by 1 over a. And so I'm going to multiply by 1 over a on the other side. I forgot the square up there. So I'll have b squared minus 4ac over 4, and then a times a is a squared. And then I'm ready to solve by taking the square root of both sides. Remember, when you take the square root, you have to do plus or minus to take care of both of your answers. So what I'm left with is x plus b over 2a equals the square root of b squared minus 4ac over the square root of 4a squared. So x is equal to negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over, and the square root of 4a squared is 2a. Now since I've got the same denominator there, I can write it all over one fraction, or over one denominator, so negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac, and that's equal to x, and that is the quadratic formula.